Okay, this is a video that I've never actually made before, but I just came back like 2 minutes ago from the movie theaters or the cinema, and I watched the new Chainsaw Man movie, the Reze arc movie. And I gotta say, it's something that I need to get off my chest here. That's why I'm making this video. I need to talk about it. I cannot sleep without talking about it. It's like 10 p.m. right now. I never record this late, but I need to talk about it. I know I'm gonna be just rolling in my bed and thinking about it if I don't at least talk about it here and yap about it for a bit. So I'm gonna make this video in a way where the first part of the video, I guess, is gonna be spoiler free, just my thoughts on, the general movie and stuff like that. And also I'm gonna talk a bit about season 1 and stuff because I actually haven't seen it on the channel. I've watched it before the channel, so I'm gonna talk about that a bit and comparing it a bit, and then I'm gonna tell you guys when I'm gonna go into spoilers. So I will go into spoilers, but that's gonna be the second part of the video, I guess. But first of all, I want to say the movie was incredible. Yeah, no beating around the bush. It is one of the best cinematic experiences I've had possibly ever. Granted, I don't go to the cinema at all. I go maybe once a year, maybe. And yeah, this was my once a year. The previous one that I watched in the movies in the theater was Avatar 2. So yeah, it's been a while. But anyways, doesn't matter right now. So I want to talk, well, first let me talk about season 1. I'm all over the place. My head is in a million different, going in a million different directions right now, but okay. No, actually, first of all, let me say this. I've been actually on a big break from YouTube. You guys haven't really probably noticed it that much because I've scheduled a bunch of videos and pre-recorded a bunch of them. So I've been on a break for like 2 weeks almost at this point, week and a half. So yeah, I'm coming back from hibernation. I'm like a bear during winter when he has the munchies. I'm coming back just to make this video because I need to talk about it. But I've been on a bit of a break and I haven't been watching any anime in this week and a half. And this was the first thing that I watched that was like anime related. And this is also the first anime related thing, or I guess anime in general, that I've watched not on the channel ever since starting this channel. No, that's not true. The only other one that I watched was the Demon's Destruction. But yeah, it's been like over half a year since that. So yeah, it's been weird watching this. But anyways, let's talk about season 1 first. I haven't seen it on the channel, but I watched it prior to starting the channel. That's why I didn't watch it here. And I liked season 1 of Chainsaw Man. I thought it was good. I thought it was very solid. I didn't like it as much as a lot of other people did because it was just a bit too weird for me. I know that's kind of like the selling point, but it is kind of like a hit or miss, I feel like. And for me, it was a bit too weird at points. And I was like, okay, this is a bit too quirky, a bit too weird for me. And I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about going into this movie, but I did know that this movie had a really good reception. Right? Obviously, I saw on my anime list, like the score was like 9.05 or something, which it doesn't really matter that much, right? It's my anime list. Like the scores on that site are all over the place, but I knew that it was going to be a good movie, right? I knew it was going to be good, and I didn't watch any reviews of it, but I did see people uploading their reviews of being like, yo, this is fantastic and stuff like that. So I saw the titles and thumbnails of it, so I knew it was going to be good, but I didn't know anything else apart from that. And I went into this, and holy, it surpassed everything that I ever expected. Now, I don't want to like overblow it in case you haven't seen it yet. I don't want to overblow it and like guess up the expectation up to like an impossible degree, but I think it was the best anime movie experience that I ever had. Granted, take this with a big grain of salt because recency bias is extremely strong. The movie finished less than an hour ago, so the recency bias is extremely strong here. But it was absolutely fantastic. I think obviously like the animation, it feels weird talking about animation because it's MAPPA, but still, I'm gonna say animation absolutely fantastic. That was one thing that I was sure it was gonna be good, was the animation. And yeah, granted, it went above and beyond. It surpassed my expectations. It was absolutely phenomenal in every single avenue. But I will say this, and this is a user error that I don't think they accounted for user error and me being stupid the way that I am. When I booked the ticket, I didn't notice that the premiere that they were showing at my movie theater was in 3D. So I booked the ticket already, like VIP deluxe, whatever. I paid like extra $5 for a VIP deluxe seat, which is just a reclining seat. Anyways, and I booked it. And then I got the ticket by email. And then I saw it was a 3D showing of it. And I'm like, no, I hate 3D. It makes every single movie look god awful. Oh my god. Anyways, so that was my bad, and there were some points where the 3D glasses that I was watching it with made some of the scenes look kind of like cheap CG. Granted, for some of the scenes, I wouldn't say it worked, but it didn't make it look horrible. But in some scenes, it actually looked really bad. But that's, once again, that's user error, right? So that's nothing on the side of the actual movie. But why do we still do 3D showings of anything? It's so bad. Everything looks so bad. Anyways, rant over about 3D. Anyways, yeah, but the movie, apart from that, obviously looked absolutely fantastic. The voice acting, I'm not reinventing the wheel when I say that Ueda Reina is a fantastic VA, but goddamn, in like especially recently, she's been doing so many insane things, right? She's been in the This Monster Wants to Eat Me. She's been doing great there. She's obviously Shizuka in Takopi's Original Sin, where she absolutely performed like gave an insane performance. And then here, her as Reze, oh my god. Oh my god, Ueda Reina is so good. I heard her voice. I knew that she was Reze, but I forgot. Like, because she was in the credits of season one because of the last line that she says in the final episode of season one of Chainsaw Man, right? She talks a bit there, and so she is accredited in the credits of season one of Chainsaw Man. So I saw, oh, it's Ueda Reina, and I forgot about it. And then I went to the movie, watched it, heard her voice, and I was like, oh, we're in for a treat, boys. And yes, it was absolutely fantastic. The biggest thing, the biggest draw of the entire movie is not, for me, is not the story, it's the cinematic feel, the cinematography, the direction of the show or of the movie. The direction of this movie is absolutely fantastic. Now, a lot of it, obviously, most of it, I would say, goes to Tatsuki Fujimoto and the way that he framed the manga and stuff like that. But also, I want to say, I'm gonna guess, I didn't actually check out the staff for the movie and stuff like that, but I'm gonna guess that the director was the same one as season one. If it is, oh my god, big ups to the director of this movie, because this is some of the best directing that I've seen in anime, period. Holy, some of the framing, or all of the framing in the shows, all of the subtle details, all of the camera shots looked so good, so unnerving. And there are some scenes that I want to point out that I'm gonna go into in the second half, as I talked about. I'm gonna talk about those because I feel like they are spoilery, so I'm gonna go into them later. But there were so many scenes where I was like, oh my god, this is so good. And during this movie, I was hyped up. I was on the edge of my seat. I was laughing. I was crying. It was fantastic. And yeah, Tatsuki Fujimoto just showcasing his love for cinema, especially at the beginning in some of the scenes, which once again I'm gonna talk about in a bit. So good, so good. And then obviously when it comes to the story, it kind of felt like a very what's the word? A self-contained arc, which I really liked, but it gave us some big implications, which once again, second half. So holy smokes, I am so excited to talk about it. So that's about my general, I guess, my general review of it, or not review, it's not a review, it's just my general feelings about it. Now I want to go into actual scenes, actual spoiler stuff. So yeah, let's go into spoilers from here. So I said earlier that at the beginning you see a scene, or there's a scene that makes you feel the Tatsuki Fujimoto's love for cinema, and that is the date with Makima. The date with Makima, oh my god, it felt like it was Tatsuki Fujimoto just speaking from the heart, just saying what his intent with just making stuff is, right? Because when Makima is saying you see 10 movies and maybe one of them sticks for you, but that one movie that sticks with you can change your life. And that is what cinema is about. That is what making art is about. And that's what Tatsuki Fujimoto is trying to say with, like, especially, like, I knew about Tatsuki Fujimoto and his intent and stuff like that, and how much he loves cinema, with obviously watching Look Back and watching, as I said, season one of Chainsaw Man. So I knew that he has a very deep-rooted love for cinema, but him laying it out in that scene with Makima, honestly, and then obviously them going to watch that movie where, you know, you see that one scene of just a guy hugging, like, I don't know if it was his mom or whatever, but a woman in the cinema, and it got me very much teary-eyed. I didn't cry at that scene, but it got me so teary-eyed because of, not because of the scene itself, but because of the implication of, you know, them watching a movie that resonated with them, or watching a piece of art that resonated with them. And that is what Tatsuki Fujimoto is trying to do as well in his movie. And just him giving us that idea, planting that idea in our head, just made me appreciate this movie so much more, because it's not about, you know, it's not about maybe putting on the most complex and insane story. It's about making people feel something. And you can feel that this is a movie that's trying and succeeding very well in doing just that, making you feel stuff. Because ever since, like, from that scene on, you meet Reze, right? And she introduces herself and she's like, "Hi, I'm Reze." And even if you didn't know what Reze looked like, if you went into this completely blind after only watching season 1, so you didn't see any posters, because I obviously knew that this was going to be Reze the second I saw her, because I saw the posters and stuff. But there were people, when she introduced herself, "Hey, I'm Reze," they were like, "Oh, because of obviously the name of the movie being the Reze arc or whatever, right? So people knew, oh, this is the girl that this arc is going to be about. What is she going to be all about?" And then you watch her, and I was on guard immediately, because I had a feeling that she's going to be trouble, right? Obviously, I feel like that's kind of like the safe assumption here in this world, right? That everyone that Denji meets is going to be trouble, right? And you feel that. But then there were points where I was like, maybe she is actually just a normal girl and she's gonna get in trouble, and because of that, Denji's gonna suffer, because she's gonna fall in love with her, and then she's gonna get in trouble, something's gonna happen to her, and Denji's gonna suffer because of that. So I started to believe that. I started to gaslight myself, because the movie was making me gaslight myself a bit. But there was one scene that I absolutely adore in this, because it was straight out of a horror movie, and I loved it. And that was when she went to the bathroom. They were at the school, at the high school, right? And she was like, "Hey, I'm just gonna go to the bathroom real fast," right? And that was a scene. The framing of the scene, there's like, she's in the bathroom, there's only one red light in the bathroom, very ominous looking, but okay. She's no smile, nothing. She's, you know, washing her arm or something, and then she gets out of the bathroom. And the way that she walks, she's slumped forward, her legs are slightly crooked, but she's still looks okay. She just looks like she's a bit off. It looks like she's not necessarily just a normal human. And then you see her walk past, and then there's just a 1 second window where her shadow is on the floor, reflected from a window. Her shadow on the floor, and that shadow looks like a freaking monster, like a ghost or something. It looks extremely terrifying, and it just passes by, and you're like, oh no, and it's terrifying. And then there's this murderer who appears, right? Obviously trying to hunt down Denji, and he finds with Reze. He finds Reze, and he wants to use her as bait for Denji. So he's like, "Well, I'm gonna capture you, and then I'm gonna use you as bait," right? And he goes on to chase her, and Reze's screaming and feeling very helpless, or at least she's portraying herself to be very helpless. But then she obviously turns the tables on him and kind of like taking him out, right? And we find out that she is working together with Typhoon and stuff like that, like just a bunch of really cool stuff. And then she approaches Denji again, and they're having fun, they're going swimming, and then there's this cool scene, because at that point, you know that there's something off with Reze, right? So the movie is no longer trying to be subtle about, you know, letting you know, hey, there's something wrong about Reze. So what they do is, they show you, when they're swimming together, they show you a spider and a moth. I think it was a moth, at least. And a moth being captured in the spider's net, and slowly but surely getting more and more entangled into the net and falling into the trap. Obviously, the implication there being Denji being the moth, being captured by the spider being Reze, right? So you could see, just the more fun that Denji was having with Reze, the more tangled up the moth was getting in the spider's web. So well done, so well executed. I was freaking out when that was happening. I was freaking out, and I had to control myself, because I'm used to, you know, vocalizing all of my emotions on camera, because I can do it here. I can be like, what the fuck? I can freak out. I can pause. I can talk about it. But in the movie theater, I can't. I can't. I was struggling. I was struggling by control myself, you know. That's why I need you guys. That's why I'm making this video, because I'm letting out everything that I can control, that I had to control that I had to control at the theater. But yes, it was absolute cinema when it comes to that entire scene. And then comes the second part of the movie, or I guess it was the second part of the movie. So they go to a festival. I hope I'm not forgetting anything. But they go to a festival, and that's where everything goes down. That's where shit goes down. That was some incredible fight sequences. I don't have too much to say about the entire fight sequences because it was just absolute cinema. It very much reminded me of episode 17 of Jujutsu Kaisen season 2, but if it was finished, you know, that's the vibe it gave me. Very similar to very similar style of, you know, directing, or yeah, and animation and action, choreography and stuff like that. I loved it. It was really, really good. They were changing up art styles left, right, and center. And yeah, oh man, I think just Denji getting hurt over and over and over again by everyone that he meets, but then still falling for them, being this naive boy, is so sad, but also so interesting as to have this kind of main protagonist, and him being as likable as he is, even though he is on paper not a very likable person, is great. And then I want to talk about the ending, because that made me cry. And you know what was really mean? I was starting to cry. There were tears streaming down my face, and then they turned on the lights, and I was like, no, wait a minute. Don't expose me like that. Don't show everyone that I'm a mess right now. But I want to talk about as I said, the ending. Obviously, we didn't really need to, like, Reze is not necessarily a great person, right? Objectively speaking, she has done so much damage. She has killed so many people without showing any remorse to them. But we find out that she is an orphan, or yeah, she is an orphan, and she was raised in this MK Ultra-esque, you know, facility, Russian facility, where she was trained to be this emotional soldier from the beginning, from birth, basically, right? And yeah, that's what she did. And obviously she said that she was manipulating Denji, but at the end we find out that she was feeling, that was the only time that she was actually feeling true happiness, or she was actually feeling like, hey, maybe I can do something, maybe I can have some kind of genuine connection. And she felt that genuine connection for the first time, hanging out with Denji and teaching her how to swim and stuff like that. And then as Denji was like, hey, even though she was obviously escaping and stuff like that, trying to go away, Denji was like, I'm still gonna wait for you for lunch at the cafe that we meet up, where we always meet up and stuff like that. And we saw her walking towards that cafe, and that was the point where I was already tearing up, because she was like talking about how she wants to meet him, how she wants to be happy, and being like, maybe just maybe I can be happy as well. And then her saying, I never went to school either. Oh man, I was bawling. I was not okay. And then, of course, the final boss herself, Makima, shows up. And Makima shows up, and obviously, as one must, she alongside with the angel, I forgot the angel's name, they kill Reze. And yeah, that was where the waterfalls got unleashed. I was not okay, but they ended up killing Reze, which makes sense. It's their job. It makes sense. But the big implications that I was talking about is there were a few scenes with Makima, or where Makima was mentioned, that oh boy, when Denji was like, I still have Makima, and Reze overheard them, and she was like, wait, you have Makima? Oh, that's who we were talking about? Dude, we could have, even if you went with me, then the outcome would be the same then if it was Makima. So I was like, wait, what do you mean by that? What does that mean? So there's some really cool lore drops there. But yeah, what exactly is Makima? I feel like there was another big lore drop that I was gonna talk about. There were two big pieces of the puzzle with Makima and stuff. Oh, it was also the shark. Yeah, the shark was also being like, hey, I can't talk, like, I can't tell you about Reze and why I know that she's like, she's working together with the Gun Devil because Makima told me not to. And I was like, oh, Makima. Oh, boy. So there's a lot of things to, there's a lot of things to this movie that I absolutely love. It sets up Makima as this. It adds so many layers. Obviously, Makima was already like a complex character in season 1, but it adds so much to Makima's character. So much ambiguity to it. And I love that. It adds so many questions to it. And it sets up future parts so well. I have no idea where it's gonna go from here because, as I said, this kind of felt like a bit of a self-contained arc when it comes to the entire Reze stuff, because it starts off with Reze and Denji meeting and it ends with Reze's death, right? So it felt like a self-contained arc, but I feel like the biggest world building or plot building that it did was with Makima. So I want to know more about that. Okay, anyways, that was just me yapping about random stuff, getting stuff out of my chest because, as I said, I've been thinking about it, I've been mulling it over, and yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I probably missed a bunch of stuff that I wanted to talk about still, and I didn't put it in here, but it is what it is. This is just my jumbled mess of emotions right after watching the movie. If you still haven't seen it, then you're probably not watching this segment right here at the end, but go watch it, especially at the theater. It's so good. Anyways, I'm gonna end it here. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.